Okay, shelflings. Somewhere in this story, a decision is about to be made, and it's probably not a good one. I'm Robin. Welcome back to Shelf Esteem Issues, where we don't just read books, we pay attention to them. And this one, something isn't right. And I knew it early, like too early, which made it even worse. Today, we're talking about The Crash by Fada McFadden, a story that looks simple at first, contained, focused, almost manageable. And I should have known better right there. Because the way this book is set up, it's controlled. You've got a woman in a vulnerable situation, a house that should feel safe, and people who, on the surface, are helping. Should is doing a lot of work here. But the more time you spend in the story, the more that feeling starts to shift. Not dramatically, not all at once, just enough for you to pause and go, wait. And I had that moment more than once. As usual, let me set the tone. This is not a loud thriller. This is not a fast, explosive, everything happens at once kind of story. This is a something feels off and no one is addressing it kind of story, which, in my opinion, much worse. Because now I'm not just reading. I'm watching. I'm paying attention to tone, to timing, to the way people say things, and the way they avoid saying other things. And once that switch flips, there's no going back. Now, let's talk about the characters, because this is where the story really starts to play with you. You've got Tegan, who is already in a situation where she doesn't have full control, which immediately makes me protective and suspicious at the same time. And then you've got people around her, people who should feel safe. But here's the thing. Safe doesn't always feel safe in this book, and I don't like that. Someone explain that to me. I'll wait. Because the way these characters are written, you're not given certainty. You're given behavior, moments, reactions that feel just slightly off. And I found myself consistently asking, is that intentional or am I overthinking? Answer, probably not overthinking. And that's the space this book thrives in. Now, if you read Fada McFadden before, you already know. She does not play fair. She gives you just enough to feel like you're understanding what's happening and then quietly shifts the ground right underneath you. And here, she leans into that. Hard. Now, let's get into it. Red flag are redeemable. This one is tricky because no one is waving obvious red flags. No one is standing there like, hi, I'm the problem. That would be too easy. And we're not doing easy here. Instead, it's subtle. It's the way someone responds too quickly or not quickly enough. It's the tone of a conversation that doesn't quite match the situation. And if you're looking at a certain character and thinking, this feels fine, I'm just going to gently suggest, look again. Because I had moments where I thought I had a read on someone and then immediately questioned myself. And I do not enjoy that. Not one bit. Well, actually I do, but I'm not admitting that out loud, okay? Now, let's talk about tension. Because this book doesn't build tension in the way you expect. It doesn't throw everything at you. It holds back. And that restraint, that's what makes it work. Because now I'm leaning in. I'm noticing everything. Every pause, every look, every moment where something should be said and isn't. And those gaps, they stretch. Just enough to make you uncomfortable. And once you're uncomfortable, you're invested. Which feels like a setup. And it is. You're not reacting to big twists. You're anticipating them. Waiting for something to shift. And when it does, it doesn't feel like relief. It feels like, okay, well, now I need to go back and rethink everything. And that's the kind of tension that sticks. Now, we need to talk about something I didn't expect. The thirsty for trouble segment. And no, This is not the same energy as fantasy. This is not bold. This is not obvious. This is quiet. It's in the way characters interact, the way attention lingers just a second too long, the way presence alone shifts the mood of a scene. And I caught myself noticing it, not in a this is romantic way, but in a this is intentional and I don't fully trust it way, which apparently is where I live now, because it's not about attraction. It's about awareness. And once you notice it, you start questioning everything around it. Now, what are you actually getting from this book? You're getting a story that keeps you slightly off balance. You're getting characters that don't give you everything, and a narrative that expects you to notice the details. This isn't something you casually read. This is something you watch closely, and maybe with a little side eye. Because the moment you relax, that's when something shifts. And I learned that the hard way. Final thoughts. This is a story that understands restraint. It doesn't rush. It doesn't over-explain. It lets you sit in the discomfort and then builds on it. And by the time things start to come together, you're already invested, already questioning, already trying to figure out what you missed. And I like that. I mean, it's stressful, but I like it. Final verdict. If you want something straightforward, this isn't it. But if you like stories that make you pause, pay attention, and question what you're being told, this is absolutely worth the read, because not everything in this story is what it seems. And some of it is worse than you think. So join me next week for another story that probably should have ended differently. We're diving into Before She Disappeared by Lisa Gardner. And something about this one, yeah, I'm already suspicious. Until then, read something questionable, trust your instincts, or don't. Bye.